Purple red wine。
唔係啊，你問我。
做乜咁啊你？
帶不走，唯有飲杯酒。
Kevin Ho 小貝 Houghton 會長 Anthony、Chris、Kelvin Y 星期三晚共聚會。
喂，翻到嚟第二節
共
共聚會，咁我繼續同呢個澳洲嘅 winemaker Craig 傾偈啦。咁啊，因為佢啊，真係嗱，佢又喺澳洲做酒，又喺中國做酒。我哋而家就想將佢嗰支中國酒同埋我支澳洲酒擺埋一齊，睇下有咩分別，好唔好啊？
一個中一個澳，一中一西。
係啦，
就一個北半球，一個南半球。
Directly compare the two Chardonnay. One is from Ningxia.
One is from Ferngrove.
Franklin.
And from the same winemaker. Well, almost the same.
Almost the same. Yeah, almost.
Well, this.
It's 1 year after you left.
In the Ningxia, the vintage 2017, 1 year after you left, but the current winemaker, you know, she kind of trained by you. Okay.
She's amazing.
Yeah, she's your apprentice.
Oh.
And you.
Your protégé.
I don't know about that. No, she was always very good.
You was her Donald Trump. Okay.
Yep.
So, and also one northern hemisphere and the southern hemisphere. Obviously, amazing. All right.
Yep.
Okay, so we have the other wine. It's Helan Mountain Premium Collection Chardonnay 2017 from the same vintage.
And 12.5% is almost the same because the Ferngrove is 13%.
Okay.
So
the color could be more different. I mean, look at that.
What?
The
It's
color
more yellow,
from
right?
the Helan Mountain is more. It's more mature.
Yeah. Oh, it's deeper. Yeah, it's probably not too. It's certainly not brown or anything, but it's definitely a deeper colour. Yeah, deeper yellow, and that's the first thing that strikes me. So yes, I mean Houghton alluded to it earlier. You're talking about a northern and southern hemisphere vintage, so you're talking about a point of difference there as well. I don't know where to start. There's so many differences that could be between these wines. There's a difference between the closures as well.
Okay.
So you're potentially looking at some closure differences there as well.
Yeah, the Australian one it's a screw cap,
That's
and
right.
the Chinese one is a normal cork. It's a traditional cork.
Yep. You're looking at an elevation. I mean, Ningxia's 1,100 metres, and Franklin River's, depends which part you're at. Let's say 250, 200 for the sake of an argument.
Okay. Much lower.
Yeah, much lower. We romantically used to call Ningxia a desert plateau. So it was about 1,100 metres, but it was a desert kind of environment. So it was
very
quite
dry.
It was very good for growing grapes because of that dryness. Yeah,
But
absolutely.
it's also much cooler in winter, right?
Oh, that's probably one of the downfalls of Ningxia, in my opinion, or basically the only downfall, was the bitterly cold winters that didn't get snow.
And you have to bury the vines.
You have to bury the vines in Ningxia.
And what?
How cold can you get in Ningxia?
Oh, look, depending on the wind chill, it would be -20 to maybe even a touch colder with wind chill.
Wow.
Yeah, so very cold.
So how do you survive in the winter?
How do I? I go to Australia, Horn. Well, I used to go to Australia.
Oh, I thought you stayed there for 12 months.
No way.
Okay.
I left in early December and I'd go back into February.
Yeah. I remember you quite often play the billiard, you know, at the Pauline.
Oh, yeah, we like to play billiards. Yeah,
Yeah, the
that was good
Kempinski,
fun.
yeah.
So stay inside. Stay inside.
Well, so what's the major issue? We talk about the vine growing, okay. Then what about the winemaking in the factory when you have to in the winery you have to make the wine? What's so special about making wine not about China, just in Ningxia? What special attention you have to pay for?
Oh, look,
you have to pay to.
Yeah, look, there's a lot of similarities. There is some infrastructure in Ningxia that is probably 20 to 25 years old. In some cases maintained well, in others not maintained so well. So there's some similarities there because you could pick up a few Australian
infrastructure.
wineries.
You mean that specific factory
Infrastructure,
that
yeah, that's
Ricard
right.
bought, right?
That's
in
right.
Ningxia?
In some instances.
Those tanks and everything.
Yeah, I think the big difference though is if you look at a 20 or 25-year-old vine in Ningxia and look at a 20 or 25-year-old vine in Australia, they're vastly different.
How different are they?
Well, because they have to bury the vines.
Oh, right. Okay.
So that's
always got to bend the
bend
vine.
the vine down and put it under some soil.
Yeah.
And so there was a lot of work being done in viticulturally as to how to do that better, perhaps.
Yeah.
And maybe not bring the vine out at 90 degrees, maybe bring it out at a slightly different angle. Maybe
So it gives a lot of stress to the wine.
It
to the vine.
potentially can,
Right.
yes. I mean, that said, there's a lot of blocks in Ningxia that performed really well, really well, and it was surprising to see that, given that the conditions that they'd been through over 20 or 25 years, how they were producing grapes and how they were producing their
Well, then
subsequent
how
wines.
does the banding of the vine affect your vinification? How does it impact on your process of vinification?
Well, it affects on the vine health. And the
Okay.
process of vinification is always about the quality of the fruit that comes
Okay.
in, about the natural level of nutrient that is occurring in the grapes, the quality of the grapes, the quantity of the grapes, the overall balance, the way the grapes have acidity, etc. So there's a whole lot of factors. Pretty much all the factors that come from the vine into the winery that get you to make decisions on what you do.
Is there
there.
a very high percentage of a death rate of the vine after every winter, after they are unbanned? They die, or maybe sometimes they don't die, but they just don't perform in the next season after the berry.
You could probably say the same about Australia too. There's some vines that don't perform as well. But anecdotally, there was maybe a 5%, even slightly higher, 5%, even slightly higher mortality rate in the colder winters. So that obviously then gives you a slight inconsistent or variability in Chinese vineyards as well. But like I said to you, I think there's a lot of vineyards in China that perform really well. And so, focus on the positives. So somebody's getting it right. And so that's what you probably should be trying to model on over there. And going the replant, certainly back 20 years ago, the industry probably grew a little bit quick. And you can definitely draw a parallel with that and what happened in Australia as well. We grew probably a little bit quick with our plantings. And, vine material, good source material became a bit scarce. And so, basically people, what you could do.
That's what I
you were
heard.
putting
They
in.
had problem with the clones.
Yep.
It's not easy because it's all controlled by the government, and you don't get to choose the clone that you like.
Look, I don't know that level of detail, to be honest. I know that there was a lot of work being done, certainly in my time in Ningxia, with bringing in and importing new clones and new varieties even. So, look, I don't know. Since 2011, I thought, in my experience, I think the government had been reasonably proactive in getting new clonal material in and new varieties in. Previous to that, I don't know. Maybe 20 years ago when the industry was growing so quickly, there may have been some problems. But certainly in the last few years, I think everything's been pretty good, actually. Yeah.
Well, let's try, we just talked about the color.
Right.
I smell a lot of butter in it.
And also it's totally different. The flintiness is gone.
Yeah.
It's
no flintiness.
It's very
in
buttery. It's quite creamy. I think there's quite a bit of lee stirring as well.
Yeah. Were there lees stirring? Do you have some staff to stir the lees every day?
Absolutely. Well, in my experience, yes, we did a lot of batonnage.
Okay.
Yep. I love batonnage on Chardonnay to a point. And again, that's another thing that's reflective of the vintage. You can't just come up with a set of rules for batonnage and say, yeah, I do it every third day for the first month and then every twice a week after that. Because each vintage is different. And so you have to see how each wine's performing with batonnage.
Interestingly, I think even though Helan Mountain is supposed to be like a cooler terroir, but the acidity is actually lower than the Franklin.
It certainly tastes like that. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's a medium or maybe less than medium acidity. But
maybe it's the malolactic. It's the malolactic fermentation that makes a difference.
Could be a bit of malo on there as well.
Could be, but the grape itself may not be acidic enough. Plus the malolactic fermentation, then.
This is Craig has mentioned the
the
Ferngrove. It's undergone like just a bit partial malolactic fermentation, but the Helan Mountain probably has more malolactic.
Right. But the Ferngrove is sufficiently acidic. Look at the Riesling, very quaffing,
Yeah. But on the Helan Mountain, when it's in your mouth, it's you can feel the lactic acid more than the.
I think texturally they're very different as well. I get a slightly oily, but in a nice way oily. It's kind of got a little bit more weight to it, I think, in some ways. Yeah. And I think their closure may well be actually playing a part in some of this, to be honest. Because the younger wine actually looks a little bit more coloured than the older wine.
Yeah, quite substantially.
So I mean, tonight you will have an email to send to the winemaker.
No, I think she's doing a wonderful job. No, she could probably tell me a thing or two now, I think.
Okay, shall we turn to the red?
Okay,
Yeah,
sure.
let's do that.
Yeah.
Let's do that.
Which one to go first? The
Well, it
Shiraz?
has to be the Syrah, I think.
The Shiraz?
Yes.
Okay.
Well, I only bought one red today. so-
Okay, this is called the Dragon Shiraz.
No, we have 2 reds. We have.
Now this is 2 red, right? What is the Shiraz from Southern Hemisphere, Franklin River, and the next one will be the XiaoFeng from Northern Hemisphere. XiaoFeng is a Bordeaux blend.
No, XiaoFeng should be, well, that should be pretty much straight
Cabernet
Cabernet.
Okay, Cabernet.
Straight
right.
Cabernet. Mate, you're testing my memory now, Houghton. I think it may have got a little bit of Merlot just to try and soften it off a bit at wedding, but I'm pretty sure it's
remember
close
there's a
to.
mellow block there.
Well, on the label,
pretty
it's
close to
100% Cabernet Sauvignon. I
Okay.
think.
Yeah.
Okay.
But, well, you can always add some Merlot without mentioning it. In Chinese, there are laws saying that there's 15%,
I'm pretty sure there is. Yeah,
There
yeah,
is,
yeah.
right?
Yep.
because I'm not sure if it's enforced in China. I don't know.
Oh, look, they were an international company, so they played by,
Oh, yeah, of course.
by,
Yeah,
the,
yeah.
by the street legal rules.
Yes, this is straight
Sorry.
Cabernet Sauvignon.
Okay. Let's have the Syrah first, I guess. I want to pour some Syrah. The Shiraz, sorry. It's still on the label, it's still Shiraz. So Ferngrove Dragon Shiraz, 2015. Hey, hold on, you poured the wrong wine.
What?
So pouring the Shiraz.
No, I'm putting both.
Okay, cool.
Yeah,
They need to fight. There's plenty for
yeah,
everyone.
side
That's
by
all right.
side.
I don't think I could compare these 2 wines. They're very different.
Yeah, it's going to be almost impossible to compare these
Yeah.
two.
So let's talk about the Shiraz. Hold on. Okay, on
The Shiraz probably needed a decant, but that's okay.
the Shiraz, it's actually quite typical. I think it's I wouldn't say it's the Barossa style. No. But it's on the nose you can smell it's a Shiraz. It's got more the peppery side and there's this. What Houghton always says it's the dongguai, it's the Chinese herbal side of it that you can pick up. It's
Yeah, very typical of most of Chinese wine. I mean, Angelica, you know, that's
yeah,
some little bit of herbal flavor.
but it's
in
on the
Cantonese
Shiraz.
we call it dongguai.
Yeah, but it's on the Shiraz. It's on the
I mean the XiaoFeng.
no, I'm talking about the Shiraz. I'm talking about the Australian one.
Oh, just a little bit.
Yeah.
Very light.
Yeah. But there is. I mean, it's quite typical of Australian Shiraz. in a
Okay.
sense.
Yeah.
That's something that you don't find in a French Syrah.
It's a mix of some herbal and spices. You know,
Yeah.
that make
Well,
you
that's
feel
typically what we see out of the cooler climate. Is we see that sort of more intense black pepper spice.
Yeah.
We see certainly when they're young wines, you see that brighter red berry fruit. You see that natural acidity. We tend not to oak sort of too much in Franklin River, but we're always looking for that balance of oak on the wines as well.
What's the vinification of this wine?
For the Shiraz?
Shiraz.
It's reasonably typical. In recent years, we do a little bit. We've invested heavily in a really good onboard destemming machine harvester, so that we can take fruit in at night. We can take a lot of fruit in if we see the weather's turning. It just gives us a bit more flexibility. But for that level of Shiraz, that Dragon Shiraz, we also go out and hand pick a lot of Shiraz for it too. We've got some small 5-ton fermenters. So that open top fermenters.
Open top. Okay.
Yeah, so we can keep select parcels separate from our vineyard, and we can just give them some extra special attention.
But in the end, you blend them, right?
Not always,
Not
actually.
always,
No,
okay.
it's about having the flexibility because that's one of the best Shirazes we make. We can almost go through and individually pick out which barrels we want to go into that blend.
So you have some single vineyards.
Well, in fact, that wine has been single vineyard previously.
Right.
I can't put my hand on my heart and say every year, but in some years it is single vineyard, and the label will reflect that, whether it's single vineyard or not from that year. And it depends on how you quantify single vineyard, because that's another little bugbear of mine, is that does single vineyard mean the individual block in the vineyard, or does it mean it comes from the
entire
overall
vineyard,
vineyard side? Because if you're looking at single vineyard from the vineyards that surround the winery, then it's single vineyard because it comes all from our vineyards.
Of course,
It's all from basically the vineyards that occur around the winery. But if you're looking for individual block as a single vineyard, then sometimes we'll take little bits and pieces out of some of the other blocks as well. Yeah.
Not very acidic.
It's not very high acidity. No.
No,
So
medium.
it's totally not the French Syrah style. I wouldn't say it's the French Syrah style, but it's not the Barossa style as well. It's something sort of in the middle. Sometimes it reminds me a bit of South African Syrah.
That's interesting. It's a good, interesting parallel.
But you know, it's both of you guys are in the middle, a bit in the middle, right?
And not very tannic Syrahs.
No.
Is it typical in Ferngrove?
To be tannic? Not
Not
particularly.
that tannic.
No.
Much less. If you compare Barossa, much less tannin.
There's a lot less tannin. There's a lot less alcohol.
That's why-
Generally, there's a lot less oak as well.
That's why I think it's somewhere between the French style and the Barossa style. There's something in between.
Interesting.
And
The French style is supposed very tannic too.
Can be.
the
The
Syrah
Northern
depends.
Rhone
Yeah.
Syrah
No,
is
no,
very
it
tannic.
depends. It depends.
But never that mild.
It's
This
quite
one's quite
soft and
mild
mild.
in terms
and-
of the Syrah.
But you know,
I
the
mean,
French
in-
style
in
could be
terms
very
of tannin.
elegant. But here we have, and the French style has more acidity. But here it's more, it's less acidity as well. It's funny. It's very different from the other Syrah I've tried.
But it's a 2015. Okay, but nose is still very fresh.
2013, the XiaoFeng, I think, is.
I mean the Syrah.
Oh, the
Syrah
Syrah is
we're talking about
2015.
yeah.
That's right, yes. Again, maybe not, and I'm not digging the closure discussion too much, but again, you're looking at a wine that's been under cork since 2013 and a wine that's under screw cap from 15 as well.
Have you got a
Still.
bit of the XiaoFeng, please?
Yes.
Actually, no, I'm going to keep it.
Oh, keep it for dinner, that's for sure. Yeah. So,
Okay, XiaoFeng is a 2013.
Oh, the XiaoFeng. It's,
Is it
from
the,
Helan
it's not
Mountain
the
as
first
well.
vintage of XiaoFeng, right?
No, it's not.
What's the first vintage of XiaoFeng?
Oh, great question.
I remember
you're
the
testing
first
my memory
vintage
now.
was blue color in label.
Oh, yeah, the label definitely changed.
This one is a black loop label.
I'm pretty sure from 2011 or maybe even 2010.
Yeah.
2010 may have been a XiaoFeng from 10. Yeah, with the blue label. That's right. Slightly different sort of concept back then.
Okay,
I'd have to say I
when we
prefer the
first
black label.
opened when we first opened the bottle, we tasted a bit, and it was very oaky. It's a lot of cigar box and all those oaky flavors, but here right now it's evolved a bit. That oakiness it's gone a bit. It's gone down a bit.
Which one?
The XiaoFeng,
Okay, how
And
how
then-
long has it been open? An hour, right?
almost
maybe.
yes,
Yeah.
almost yeah. But and then there's a bit of umami on the nose. It's interesting.
Umami. What's this? Is that a Chinese herb? What's
No,
umami?
umami is a Japanese.
Umami is mean the protein, meat.
No, it's the Japanese
Oh, sometimes soy sauce.
soy sauce.
Ah, yes. Okay.
Soy sauce.
I think that's reflective because the wine is 2013 and it's starting to develop. For me, soy is more of an aged character. I think that's a delicious wine.
This is a delicious wine.
Oh, I think that is amazing. Yeah.
Well, right now it's
Yeah.
great on the palate. So everything has got structure. It's got that. It's got the grip on the tongue, and there's more. It's giving you more and more flavors.
Yeah.
It's actually very complex.
Yeah, I think it's great. I think I mean, you can't really talk about the comparison too much. I mean,
They're
you've got
totally different.
different regions, different hemispheres,
Yeah.
different varieties, and I think that's what you're seeing the most. Is you're seeing some very solid Cabernet tannins, very ripe Cabernet tannins, aging really well. I mean, that wine is a 2013. I still think it looks fresh as the day it was bottled.
And I think it's amazing that you can achieve this kind of ripeness and this concentration in Ningxia.
Yeah.
It's not easy,
It's not easy. That
especially
said,
for Cabernet Sauvignon. Huh?
Cabernet Sauvignon, it's a late ripening variety.
Yeah,
So you do need those longer days. You do need that longer summer.
but winter comes early.
Winter does come early, and people tended to get very nervous if we hadn't irrigated, pruned, and buried the vines by early December, late November.
Right.
So you were almost on a time frame. That said, 2013 was a particularly warm vintage. So even though you had a late ripening Cabernet variety, because the summer was quite intense, it was quite warm for Ningxia, you had no problems developing that ripeness, that
Right.
flavour ripeness.
But then every vintage will be very different, right?
Vintages can be different. I mean, and marginal areas. Well, I'm not saying Ningxia is a marginal area, but all grape growing regions across the globe have different vintage conditions always. Right. And even if you go from a warmer area, which is a little bit more consistent with its ripening and its heat patterns and day length and everything
Napa.
like that. Your Napa's pretty warm.
Yeah,
and
pretty
they're
consistent. Yeah.
That's right. So Cabernets from Napa, it's a late ripening variety, but it gets the heat that it needs to get over the line. And I think in 2013, that Cabernet had pretty much the ideal conditions to get it.
So it's a good vintage.
13 was a wonderful vintage. Yeah.
And the tannin is still quite rough.
Yep.
Not mellow at all.
Oh, it could age. This one could still go on.
Yeah, I think it's drinking wonderfully now. I don't think you've done it justice though. I think we've got to tuck that one away for another few years and have this conversation in, 2024.
We'll see. We'll see.
Yeah.
You still got some bottles left?
I hope he has.
Oh, yes.
I've only got one of these left.
I still got 2 to 3 bottles.
Oh, you're doing better than me.
Yeah.
You're more patient, Houghton.
Yeah.
But that's the problem, right? A lot of these wines get drunk too early.
Yeah.
Look, yes and no. I mean, look, you have to enjoy and appreciate an aged wine.
Yeah.
Particularly in Australia, I would have to say, and I'm being very general. Yeah. I'd have to say Australians generally prefer to drink their reds a little fresher, a little bit more youthful.
Yeah.
So you have to be prepared for that market to have wines that are ready to go to market because people are generally going to consume them. Yeah. In some other markets, people are a little bit more patient.
Yeah.
So you would produce wines in a little bit more, with maybe a bit higher free sulfur, a little bit more tannic, because you know that generally people are going to let them soften over time.
Yeah.
But I think that looks really, really good. Really good.
Right.
Okay, yeah.
What is it?
Good job. I like this show.
Question. What is the oldest Chinese wine you ever tried? Chinese wine.
You drank, right?
That I've drunk.
Yeah.
Wow.
Oldest Chinese wine. Myself?
Yeah.
Boy, you're
I
testing.
drank something back to late 1980s.
How did the wine industry evolve in that sense?
A lot.
So back then the wines were not very good, right?
No.
Look, I think there were a couple of producers that were doing well back in the early days. Silver Heights, I think, have been pretty consistent. That's where I was going to go with.
But Silver Heights,
Heights,
they did not exist back then, right?
Oh no, they were one of the first plantings in Ningxia.
Okay.
Not that I'm here to talk. Emma will probably send me a message later. But look, I think that their wines show pretty good pedigree and pretty over the years.
Yeah.
I think Grace have certainly been around for a while as well.
Who?
But the
Grace
Grace,
but the oldest vintage from Grace is probably early 20s, 2000. I mean,
IDV
sorry,
yeah,
2000.
Yeah, maybe late 90s.
Yeah, because but for stuff like from the 80s or 90s, I mean, not that many people tried them, I guess.
No, I wouldn't have thought.
Yeah, probably the modern wine industry didn't really exist back then, right?
Well,
So I think some
depends
things
on
have
what you
improved
modern.
a lot.
Modern mean the Chinese first import some Western equipment to start making wine.
That's Changyu.
That's talking about 1980s. They already did it.
No, it's earlier.
In Changyu, they talking
Changyu
about
is
late 19th century.
Exactly.
Well, modern in relative to then, okay.
Yeah.
But you're talking about modern in present sense. I mean, they started 80s. But I mean, the real modern winemaking man thought it would be at least after 2000, 2000. Yeah. They start making really reasonably internationally modern wine.
So from that point to this XiaoFeng, 10 years. I mean that's a great wine for 10 years. Huh?
Yes. Yeah.
Yes, I think it is a great wine. Not trying to put too much wind in my own sails. I think there's a lot of work done before I got there.
Of course, yeah.
There's a Chinese saying that says, you have to be thankful for the people that dug the well that you now drink from.
Right.
And there were a lot of people that went before me, before that wine, that really did dig the well.
Right.
But I think also what's happening since 2011 is you've seen an outstanding number of wineries producing good wine in China.
Right.
You're right. There was more on the bulk earth side back in the day.
Yeah.
But Australia could be the same. We had a similar picture back a few years ago. Our red wines were not great, 20 or 30 years ago.
You're right.
But I think that what's happened in the last few years is that people have started to focus on quality over quantity.
Right.
And I think the Chinese wine industry has come in leaps and bounds since I first went over there in 2011. There's some really solid producers over there that I would be happy to recommend as producing really good wines. Yeah.
But it doesn't come cheap, I guess. That's why it's quite expensive, actually.
Okay, well, 400
that's a
something
great
RMB,
conversation.
yes, to the
Yeah.
Hong Kong girls. Well, it's
Right now,
pretty steep, but
right now it's 400 RMB.
more than 400.
If it's
almost
a new
5.
vintage.
Okay, but for the Chinese market, it's already much reasonable now. When they first, I think they did not do it well. I mean, when Pernod Ricard first pushed out the wine in 2015, they start promoting XiaoFeng.
It's 1,000 RMB.
Everybody, 900 something, well, not yet, but 900 something.
Yeah, right.
And that really, let
But then
people
somebody,
really have to
somebody
think
else
twice.
hit new height with that LVMH wine for 300 US.
Yeah.
I was like, I
Another
tried that. I was
friend.
like, okay, 300 US. But I just told them they asked me like to say a few words about the wine. I said, it reminds me of a very nice Cru Bourgeois. I didn't mention about the price.
You were very nice about it.
Well, I think. Okay. Oh, you say Cru Bourgeois, right?
Yeah.
Well, I thought you said Beaujolais.
No,
Cru
Cru Bourgeois.
Okay, that's fair. Fair comment.
It's a
Cru
fair
Bourgeois.
comment.
Okay.
But
Some of the
Cru
better
Bourgeois,
Cru
it's,
Bourgeois, better Cru
it's not
Bourgeois.
even 300 RMB. But if you're trying to sell that one for 300 US, that's a problem.
Okay. But I'm congratulations. You really did a good
great
job
wine.
in that
It's
for
a great wine. I
Ningxia.
love
It's
it.
really a watershed product. Really a watershed product for Ningxia
No,
wine
I do.
industry. Yeah.
Look, as winemakers, we'll definitely sit back and take the credit.
Yeah.
But I have to be realist about that, and I have to say no. That's more the hard work that was put in the vineyard.
Yeah.
It's more the hard work of the winemaking and viticultural teams that went in before me. I was just lucky enough to be there
Yeah.
with a good vintage, with good barrels and
You know,
good vines.
at the
good fruit.
beginning, I mean, around year 2000 and say 15, if they had introduced that at this level, at the current level, 400 to 500 RMB, I think the impact would have been much better.
Yeah.
You know, much more people would have been willing to try it.
Look, I don't know if that's wine marketing, Houghton. That's
I know,
probably
I
your
know.
field.
I know you're not part of the marketing. That's
I'm not
why,
part of the marketing.
That's why I
unfortunately.
feel
Well,
free to criticize them in front of you. You know,
no,
I
go
know
right
that's
ahead.
not your
Look,
turf.
yeah, I know. I can't even talk about the direction of that brand or anything
Yeah.
anymore. I really don't know.
Yeah.
I've been out of it for a couple of years now.
I know you have to be a little bit tolerant when you understand China market. 400 something RMB is still, well, it's not really out. It's not too wacky pricing, even for China market today.
Right.
People would still think, okay, let's try. Okay, maybe some better wine. Okay, let's try it. Of course, in Hong Kong is
Because it's
much-
very competitive
very
market,
difficult
right? Hong Kong
to
is-
sell. Okay.
You can buy something from other countries for
Yeah.
half the price, and it's still just as good.
Hong Kong
It's
is
a
much
problem.
more competitive, and the consumer are much more picky. You know.
We didn't even talk about pricing comparisons, actually.
Yeah.
I mean, the Ferngrove, that Shiraz, I think I got that today at Sun City for 220 or something, Hong Kong.
All right.
That
It's a great
Cossack
price.
Riesling was 160.
Yeah, that's
150,
good price.
something like that.
160.
Yeah, it's a great price.
That compared
a
to
good-
Australia, I was going to buy more and take it home.
That's a good deal. You
Yeah.
have an agent here, the Ferngrove?
Yeah,
In Hong Kong?
Ferngrove are at the Sun City. I've got
Sun
that right.
City,
Yeah,
okay.
Sun
Okay, Sun City
stores.
in
Yeah,
Hong
yeah.
Kong, 160 Hong Kong.
Retail
dollar.
price.
It's good deal.
It's
Yeah,
a good
I
deal.
thought
It's a
so.
great deal.
Yeah.
Yeah. I really enjoyed it.
Yeah.
That said, though, you guys in Hong Kong were sport for choice. There was
Yeah.
some really good. There was some really nice
And
ones in
I
there for a good
advise
price.
my audience, right, in China, say for example, you go to China for business, you have some business dinner, you want to treat some customer, international customer, say you treat a group of international customer in Shanghai or Guangzhou, Beijing. If you somehow in your nearby retail shop can find a XiaoFeng,
Do
you
it.
can save out less than 5 or even 500. Okay, say 500
Yeah,
RMB.
yeah.
Just buy it. You will not make a mistake by treating the XiaoFeng to your customer or client at a important business dinner. It's a very safe bet.
Uh-huh.
Okay.
Because actually, I had the same experience. I tried to treat some French friends, a bunch of friends from France, some Chinese wine when I was in Shanghai, and I just went for Grace Vineyard, right?
Yeah.
Because you gotta go through the shop, the
Right.
Grace shop to find Grace Vineyard wine. You cannot find it out in the market. But then they tried the one. They said
Race
it's good.
is also a very safe bet.
It's a safe bet as
Yeah,
well.
I can trust to use it. Another is of course the Emmergau, the Summit. I will just take the Summit to the
No, that's Silver Heights.
Silver Height.
Yeah.
Summit is
Summit-
one
Summit
of
has
the
her
brand of
brand,
Silver
Summit
Heights,
is the other one. Yeah.
She's wonderful.
Yeah.
I go all the time.
Just
She's-
reliable.
She really knows what
Yeah,
she's
yeah,
doing.
So yeah, we're really surprised with this wine, and I would say I would go on record to say it was one of the best Chinese wines I tried.
Okay, good.
Yeah, over the years.
I'm glad you like it. When in the short future, I try to get a 15 for you, even better.
It's a warmer finish or is it?
2015.
15 was another warm vintage. It's interesting that every odd vintage, and this is being very general again, but every odd vintage seemed to work back in the day.
Yeah, right.
And we were doing a lot of work to get that out so you could get more evenness. And I think in the more recent vintages, there is an evenness to quality. But yeah, certainly 11 was great, 13 was great, 15 was great.
Yeah. Because
And since everything's been pretty good.
I was at the at AWSA, right?
Yeah.
Remember there was
Yeah,
last week we have the judging day
Yeah.
and blind tasting. I didn't know that was XiaoFeng,
Right.
but that is our group with another 3 professional full-time sommelier in Hong
Right.
Kong. That is the score they gave. The nose they gave a perfect score for the 2000. We later found out it is a 2015.
Okay.
And the taste was also great. Okay, almost perfect.
But
Yeah,
I'll say
and
this one is still very new world.
Yeah.
It lacks a bit of subtlety. That's for sure. It's still very new world. So it depends on what you want, in the wine. Yeah. But of course, you compare it with some newer ones. Of course, but when you think, okay, compare it with some old world, then it's another thing. It's just different. So, but it is what it is.
And it doesn't have those typical unripeness.
No, that's very ripe.
I
think it's very ripe.
Find in many Ningxia wines.
Oh yeah, but this one is
the
totally
first
ripe.
you put it in those, wow, all this bell pepper and.
But then
And
at
the
the same time, some
paraffin.
people like that, right? Some people like a bit of unripeness. Napa tried very hard
Yes.
to imitate it
Yes.
because of
A lot
Bordeaux.
of the new Bordeaux, unless
Unripe. Yes.
in a moderate vintage,
Yeah.
the young Bordeaux they also have those unripeness.
Of course.
the bell pepper, but
And people try to copy that.
but not that level of unripeness. Some level, certain unripeness due to the Cabernet Sauvignon that is characteristic.
And they
People
say
like
it's
it.
it's complexity.
But a lot of
They
Ningxia
tell you it's
that's
complexity.
really green.
Yeah. Oh,
It's too green from
yes,
a lot of the Ningxia red.
The Ningxia, almost some of them, they taste a bit more like unripe Cabernet or unripe Cabernet Sauvignon from Cabernet Franc.
Oh, the Cabernet
Almost
Grenache.
Cabernet Franc.
Yeah,
Cabernet.
yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, so almost 30 minutes.
Yeah.
right?
So yeah.
Okay.
Thank you so much for sharing with us. I mean,
Yeah.
we really enjoyed your wines, and we hope to drink more of your wine.
I hope you do too.
Yeah, Ferngrove, it's on sale in Hong Kong, that's for
It is
sure.
on sale in
And
Hong
let
Kong.
us know next time you come back. We'll invite you here again.
Oh, please.
Yes.
It's
Yeah.
been a wonderful experience and good to see you again, Houghton, and thank you for the experience.
Yes,
Thank
great.
you.
Thank you, Craig.
Yeah, we're hungry and we should go for dinner, I guess.
Yes.
Yeah, we should,
yes.
definitely. And
All right.
maybe take some of these wines.
Yeah, we will. All right, so thank you.
Okay, go
Oh,
on. Bye bye.
Bye-bye.
Okay,
Thank
bye-bye.
you. Bye bye.
嚟緊我想做多好多嘢，咁但係就我要同 Wet 搞，要同阿 Kelvin 去度一度啦。咁喺 budget 嗰方面啊，而家 Wet 嘅 finance 夠唔夠錢使啊？夠唔夠錢交租啊？你知啊 EV 個人工有幾高噶啦，即係高到即係直頭係政府體系裏邊 A1 嗰只咁嘅 level 噶嘛嚇，咁啊夠唔夠錢出糧？夠唔夠錢交租啊？有冇錢剩啊？點咁樣嚇？咁啊希望大家幫幫手嚇，咁。多啲睇我哋 YouTube， 我哋 YouTube 睇咧係有啲錢收嘅，咁啊多啲睇我哋 YouTube， 多啲叫朋友去 subscribe 我哋嘅 YouTube，OK？咁而家去到24,000人 subscribe 噶啦，都算幾好，咁但係我想加快少少。咁我知道要加快個 YouTube 嘅 subscriber 咧，靠我同大師同埋 Kelvin 咧3個人嘅力咧就一定唔夠嘅嚇。咁可能會增加啲嘅節目上面嘅新嘅元素落去啦，增加啲新嘅人物落去啦，加咗新嘅人，咁嗰啲人嗰啲 fans 又會帶入嚟，咁啊大家互惠互利啦。咁但係最緊要都係你哋睇完 Facebook 之後，順手唔覺意地撳一撳去 YouTube 嗰度，剔一剔，like 一 like 咁會已經好鬼開心㗎啦。OK， 睇晒佢，就算你話我聽完 Facebook 㗎咯喎，冇理由再聽到 YouTube 㗎。咁你瞓覺之前咧，你開住個 YouTube， 你瞓覺，你咪鬼理佢，佢自己會完㗎啦，咁就得㗎啦。OK， 唔該晒，唔該晒，唔該晒。